Cardiologists use a highly specific term for what is happening inside you. They call it sympathetic nervous system overdrive. Your biological engine is revving at 4,000 revolutions per minute. You are sitting completely still, but your body thinks it is fighting. If your doctor has ever prescribed a beta blocker medication, it means your cardiovascular system is already caught in this trap. I am going to explain exactly how this dangerous mechanism works. I will then reveal 3 specific foods that act on these pathways. No prescription is required for these specific clinical interventions. They do not have the side effects that silently destroy your life. Before we examine the cellular data together, I invite you to subscribe to this educational channel today. Join our community of dedicated biological truth seekers. We provide objective clinical data to protect your total lifespan. Let us look at what is actually happening inside your vascular system. Most adults believe high blood pressure is a simple mechanical problem. They think the pressure is high, so they must take a pill. This is a massive and dangerous oversimplification of complex human biology. The number on the blood pressure monitor is not the actual disease. That number is simply a late symptom of a deeper biological failure. Your autonomic nervous system operates in 2 completely distinct functional modes. The first mode is known as sympathetic activation. This is commonly referred to as the fight or flight response. Your heart rate aggressively increases to pump blood to your muscles. Your blood vessels rapidly constrict to elevate systemic blood pressure. Adrenaline and noradrenaline violently flood your entire bloodstream. Your biology prepares to survive an immediate and lethal physical threat. The second mode is known as parasympathetic activation. This is the biological state of deep rest and cellular repair. Your heart rate slows down to a resting rhythm. Your blood vessels relax and widen to allow smooth blood flow. Your digestion and immune system function completely recover. This parasympathetic state is where all actual cellular healing occurs. For millions of modern adults, the sympathetic system is stuck permanently. Chronic psychological stress and highly inflammatory diets have broken the switch. Blue light from screens and lack of sleep keep the system active. The biological system designed to save your life is running continuously. Your heart is being forced to work overtime every single hour. The cellular wear and tear compounds quietly while you feel absolutely nothing. This is exactly where the modern pharmaceutical industry intervenes. Drugs like beta blockers are prescribed to aggressively force the numbers down. These drugs block specific adrenergic receptors in your heart tissue. Adrenaline normally binds to these receptors to increase your daily heart rate. The medication acts exactly like a rubber plug inside an electrical socket. It physically prevents the biological adrenaline signal from successfully connecting. Your heart rate violently slows down and the monitor numbers look better. But the medical industry rarely discusses the massive underlying biological cost. Your nervous system is still trapped in a dangerous state of overdrive. You have simply disconnected the dashboard warning light on your car. The biological engine is still overheating and the internal damage continues. When you artificially block these receptors, your body immediately detects a problem. Your biology believes it is failing to receive necessary survival signals. To fix this perceived problem, your body manufactures brand new receptors. It makes these new receptors highly sensitive to any trace of adrenaline. Your biology actively fights the medication to restore the broken communication signal. You become deeply biologically dependent on the pharmaceutical drug over time. If you stop the medication suddenly, you will face a lethal consequence. The newly created hypersensitive receptors are exposed to a massive adrenaline flood. Your blood pressure spikes significantly higher than it ever was before. This chemical rebound effect regularly triggers heart attacks and severe arrhythmias. This is why you must never stop these medications without medical supervision. You cannot safely stop the pharmaceutical drug today, but you can build the physiological conditions that make it unnecessary later. You can create your own natural braking system gradually over several months. You can use specific foods that activate these identical biological pathways. These foods reduce sympathetic nervous system activity completely naturally. They safely dilate your blood vessels without causing dangerous receptor upregulation. They do not cause the severe brain fog associated with heavy pharmaceuticals. They do not cause chronic fatigue or reduce your cardiovascular output capacity. The first specific clinical intervention relies on raw garlic. Raw garlic contains a highly potent chemical compound called allicin. Allicin has heavily documented effects on sympathetic nervous system activity. It directly reduces adrenaline receptor sensitivity throughout your entire vascular system. Even when adrenaline is circulating, its effect on your heart is blocked. Garlic works on the exact same cellular mechanism as a beta blocker. It achieves this through natural enzyme modulation rather than direct chemical blockade. The biological effect is gentle and builds cumulatively over time. It never creates the dangerous receptor upregulation problem caused by synthetic drugs. But almost everyone makes a massive biological mistake when consuming garlic. They completely destroy the medical benefit before it enters their body. When you crush a clove of garlic, you activate a specific enzyme. This enzyme is scientifically known as allinase. This crucial enzyme converts biological precursor compounds into the active chemical allicin. But this specific allinase enzyme is incredibly sensitive to thermal heat. If you drop freshly chopped garlic into a hot pan immediately, you completely destroy the fragile enzyme before the chemical conversion happens. No functional allinase enzyme means absolutely no active allicin compound. You turn a powerful cardiovascular medicine into a completely useless flavoring agent. You must stringently follow the clinical 10-minute rule. Crush 2 cloves of raw garlic and leave them on the cutting board. Wait exactly 10 minutes at a normal room temperature. This is the precise time required for the biological allicin conversion. Even if you cook the garlic afterward, the active compound remains locked. The allicin itself is highly stable and survives the cooking process. That single timing adjustment completely triples the therapeutic value of the food. The second highly effective clinical intervention is the consumption of raw celery. Celery contains a very specific phytochemical compound called 3N-butyl phthalate. Clinical medical literature often abbreviates this complex compound as simply 3NB. It belongs to a specialized chemical class known as phthalates. This specific compound possesses a highly documented and potent vasodilatory effect. It physically relaxes the smooth muscle tissue inside your blood vessel walls. When the blood vessels widen, your peripheral vascular resistance drops significantly. Your heart no longer has to force blood through tightly restricted tubes. It is exactly like removing a severe kink from a flowing garden hose. The hydrostatic pressure at the source drops immediately without weakening the pump. Research shows this exact compound can reduce systolic pressure by 12%. That specific reduction heavily rivals the effects of standard low-dose pharmaceuticals. The strict clinical protocol requires 4 entire stalks of celery daily. You must eat exactly 2 stalks in the morning and 2 at night. The celery must be completely raw for the chemistry to function correctly. Thermal heat completely destroys the active phthalate compound very rapidly. Do not put the celery in hot soups or cooked dinner dishes. You can blend it into a cold green smoothie without damaging the compound. Strict temperature control is the absolute key to unlocking this biological benefit. The third powerful clinical intervention relies entirely on the unique chemistry of beets. Beets contain exceptionally high concentrations of natural dietary chemical nitrates. When you consume raw beets, the bacteria in your mouth begin a conversion. Specialized digestive enzymes convert these plant nitrates into powerful nitric oxide gas. Nitric oxide is the absolute most potent natural vasodilator your biology produces. It directly signals the smooth muscle lining of your arteries to rapidly expand. Your blood vessels widen quickly and your total systemic vascular resistance plummets. Your daily heart rate stabilizes because the biological pathways are finally wide open. The heart completely stops fighting against severely restricted and narrowed vessels. Clinical medical trials show regular beet consumption significantly lowers resting systolic pressure. The specific protocol requires eating one medium-sized beet every single day. You can consume this vegetable roasted or steamed or completely raw. 200 milliliters of fresh, cold-pressed beet juice delivers the exact dose. The precise biological timing of this consumption is absolutely critical for success. You must consume the beets specifically between 6 and 8 at night. Systemic nitric oxide production peaks exactly 2 hours after you eat the nitrates. Placing this massive chemical peak in the evening perfectly matches human biology. Your human body naturally attempts to shift into parasympathetic rest mode at night. The sudden nitric oxide surge strongly assists this natural biological transition. You are working perfectly with your circadian biology instead of fighting it. You must deeply understand that these 3 foods are not temporary quick fixes. They are advanced clinical tools to permanently rebuild your broken autonomic nervous system. Your high blood pressure condition did not randomly develop overnight. It was built through decades of chronic stress and poor biological signaling. You can successfully recalibrate this broken system by providing better physiological signals. Begin this natural cardiovascular protocol carefully and consistently this very week. Track your daily blood pressure meticulously and record the objective data. Show these clinical tracking numbers to your primary care physician at your appointment. Let the raw biological data make the case for safely reducing your medications. Never actively alter your prescription dosages without direct professional medical supervision. Our ultimate goal is to make your body so efficient that drugs become unnecessary. True cellular healing requires extreme consistency and a deep respect for human biology. We will constantly continue to bring you the raw clinical data every single week. Protect your entire cardiovascular system and stay perfectly objective. Thank you for seeking the biological truth with our medical community today.